Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Magic of You series. I am your host, Lotus Sky, and this series is all about the art to living an authentic, powerful, and purpose-driven life. And I'm super excited about our next guest, Keren-Or Atari. Keren-Or is a metaphysical teacher. She's an intuitive healer and also an energetic healer, and she's also an artist. As you see, one of her paintings that's in the works is right behind her. Keren-Or, thanks so much for being on this series. How are you?
Yes, thank you. I'm good. Thank you for inviting me for your series, and I'm happy to share about myself, about anything that you're curious, and to start the year with some inspiration.
Yeah,
So
and
yeah.
I love Keren-Or because she just has I mean, the way I view her is a channel. Things just come through to her and so beautifully, and she has quite an incredible story to her journey of what her purpose is and what her work is and service is here on earth, and her journey in discovering that and self-work. So Karen, can you speak more to the kind of work that you do so the audience can get to know you a little better?
Yes, sure. So my main purpose in life is really healing and helping people like go deep into their healing journey, so they can open up and find their purpose and connect better to their soul and to their journey, to their soul purpose. And so I have like a lot of healing techniques, mainly from the Mayan lineage. And whatever I'm working with, I'm also teaching. So I'm a teacher and I'm a healer. And since forever, I'm an artist, I'm a painter, and I'm working with my energetic work as well on my painting. So I can create magic and special intention in my art. So yeah, anything to do with like the mystical dimension is really interesting for me, and and helping people connecting more to to their authentic self, to their to self-love and self-respect, and walking life with purpose, and helping the evolution of this humanity, of our humanity.
That's incredible. Yeah, I agree. There's something to healing and the arts to help unlock and access the inner workings of the self, and it seems like these things are kind of keys, to access these parts of ourselves that the mind can't get past or get through. So I'm really interested about your journey and how you were able to step into these gifts. I know you had this journey of where you were from and how you got to where you were, and doing art, and then learning, waking up to source and healing modalities. So I'd love to hear more about that.
Okay, so there's something really interesting that I find is that through difficult times we are waking up to something new, to new growth, and I don't wish it for everybody. I wish people to get like easy and graceful transformation, and I think like the new generation is like tapping into it like more quickly. The thing is. I guess like in my generation, and also if you look at humanity, like big growth happen when like there's some difficulties. So this happened to me when I had some difficult times. Like I was born in Israel, grew up there, and I was serving the Israeli army, and happened like a terrorist attack, and I was there and injured. So when during like recovery, I found back my passion with painting, and I started painting again, and it opened me up to wanting to go out of Israel and like travel in the world and find other things, and find also myself, not as like Israeli, because the system, our society is really creating a lot of personality, and I wanted find more, something deeper.
Mm.
So that's, traveling the world. I went to many places, and I found myself in New York. I lived there for 8 years, and like went deeper into studying art and design, and there too, like when came a time when it started getting like difficult in my personal life, in my first marriage, um, I found an exit, From there, I think I had this quality of courage, which really helped me to make changes quickly. So whenever something went wrong, I was like, okay, I'm not going to stay here and suffer. Let me find another way. And from there, I start looking for different healing work, and it really fascinated me. The one that came from the Mexican curanderos is a Mayan lineage, and they work with like very high energetic vibration. They work with light language, with sacred geometry, with color, with dimensions, with high frequencies, and they have something really fascinating that part of their teachings come from cot teachings. So by the presence of the teacher and the master, you capture a lot of energetic downloads, and you get a lot of information, more than what the person say. And beside that, when you go to sleep, you meet your teacher in a night school. So I met that before even I knew about Harry Potter. So like all that really brought me a lot of enthusiasm, like just to understand that life, it's much more than what I imagined. And life it has this multi-dimensional ways, and that even when we go to sleep, many things happen. We work, we co-create, we study, we teach. And when I discovered that, it's like, oh, I'm going deeper. This is like something I want to really to share with everyone who listen to your program, is that like following your intuition, following, like, even if you don't know what's your intuitions, following that, like the sense of like butterflies of that's happening inside of you, and it tells you like, okay, there's something exciting in one direction. When you go there, you will find something that is important for you. And there's many ways to get there, right? Like there's not only one way, but the thing is, like, there's ways that they are more delightful, and how to get there, as I learn, is just like follow wherever I feel more excited. When I feel like, okay, I'll do that. I'll go to another place in the world. I study what I need to study because I feel there's something more. And this is what happened to me. Studying light language, studying like really deep healing techniques, and at the end, I'm here. I'm living in Brazil today. In the last 13 years, and I'm married again. I have 2 beautiful daughters, and we have a center that we're doing a lot of transformational retreats and ceremonies and workshops, trainings. So I feel like riding on a high wave on life is always a constant work of like desiring to be there. So it's not like getting somewhere, is really like the journey is inner. When you really get it, that actually when you go inside, this is how you ride in the wave. And it's pretty fascinating. I'm really happy to share it with people, and to see how more and more people waking up to their purpose, and more people understanding that living their own authentic purpose is what they are here for, and this is how they can help the evolution. There is a goal, there is a collective goal, there is some collective growth, and for people to start like opening up and wake up to their own unique gifts, this is what can help in the whole part, the whole evolution. So yeah.
Yeah, that sounds so incredible. There's so much to what you said around, following your excitement. That's been coming up a lot for, many of our speakers around, what excites you the most. That's the sign that you should follow wherever you go and allow things to shift and change, and not being so tied to how the outcome looks like. And then there's around, healing of the self in order to determine who you are. And then there's around, how embodying, and I totally agree with you with this, embodying the authentic self. If everybody embodies who they authentically are and pursues their authentic purpose, that the world would, that the world will find peace. So if someone who's working a job that they are unhappy with, that probably contributes in some negative way to society. If I had a friend who used to make weapons for a living, and then her back started hurting. She experienced a severe back pain to the point that she had to have surgery. And then she decided, I'm not going to do surgery. She did yoga instead, quit her job, and now is a spiritual teacher, and also does similar work that you do. It's if when you start to listen to the science and follow your excitement, that you kind of end up leaving stuff that, don't make you happy, that hurt your health, that hurt other people, if that's relevant. And then you end up actually doing what you're doing in the world, which is to be of service to others, and then healing yourself in the process. So that's such a powerful share. And thank you. I'm so interested in the work that you do with individuals around light language, around accessing the multidimensional self. You spoke a little bit about that, and I would love to have the viewers know a bit more about these tools and modalities that you use for people to help access themselves and their truths. Because especially in these times, there's so much around, there's so much stimulation, and in that stimulation, it might be difficult to decipher, at least for me, when I was going into my own journey of figuring out who I am, deciphering between, the ego voice and the soul voice, right? Like, so am I doing this because I want acceptance, or am I doing this because, or I want acceptance, or I'm talented at it, but, or am I doing this because, it is a true calling, or just how do we, what are your tools and modalities so that people can distinguish what their truth is for themselves?
When people come to me for a private session, like if it's a class is one thing, for private session, I'm going intuitively to see what their priorities, and sometimes this is what they're looking for, and sometimes there's something completely different, like they want to manifest something like a relationship or job. And when it comes to understanding like where is a soul purpose and where is the voice of like the society, or the ego, or anything else, I find it really easy to look at it as in the chakra system, because most people already know what are the chakras. Mm-hmm. And then like with light language, for example, I'm choosing specific sacred geometry and color for every chakra. So it will be like, so not the patterns run your energy field, your matrix, but something that you choose for your growth. And from the chakra system, I always tell people the priorities always is the crown chakra, are high chakras, because a soul or higher self are coming through the crown chakra to our bodies. Now the ego is like normally solar plexus, so there's like a big gap from there. So like when you're like starting tuning up from the higher chakras, it is easy to trust that even the ego is aligned with your soul. Okay, because everyone got ego. I mean, this is one of my teachings also, not to fight always the ego, not to fight yourself, Not like, oh my God, I don't want to be angry. I want to be only kind. I don't want to be sad. I want to be only happy. I don't like, I mean, emotions are natural. And if they are there, like, let's look at them and with respect and love, because many times I see that the inner child of a person is not healthy and is interfering a lot in their way. So we can call it ego and you try to shut it down, but maybe the parents try to shut down the child all the time. So you're always trying to do the same thing to be more annoying or like, not respect other people or have competition with people. And when you understand that, that's your child inside, just want love, just want attention. You put the attention, instead of fighting that ego, you put the attention inside of you. And you said like, all right, there's a child there. The child was not happy when he grew up. He didn't really receive all the acknowledgement, all the creativity, space, freedom that most people don't get. At least, at least until our generation, maybe the new generation already have a lot of conscious parents. So what I like to teach people, and that you can take this archetype of a child and connect also to your adult woman or man, and mother or father your child. Just give them the love they didn't receive before. Because until you don't take care of that, when the emotional body is not in balance, it's really hard to understand what is my authentic self.
Yeah.
Because emotion is like, and it takes you out of your center. And when you're not in your center, how can you know your direction? And this is why so many people are feeling kind of lost and overwhelmed or depressed, or the emotional body is just like, out of alignment, basically. So one of like major work is really working with the inner child. Is it's not only, it's kind of basic psychology to understand that a lot of things coming from childhood.
Yeah,
and
it's
sometimes come from like other lifetimes, but it doesn't matter. The thing is like, all right, this is my life lessons. Let's respect that is my life lessons.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the most empowering thing that I have found, and I teach people, is that everything that happens to us is our choice. It's our responsibility and it's our choice. So even if we had like horrible parents, it's still our choice. Even if we had like traumatic experiences, it's still our choice. You want it or not, like your soul maybe want like really difficult life experiences so it can grow more, so that's like a big base to really understand like ourselves and to connect to something deeper.
Yeah, I really resonate with what you said. And inner child work is talked about a lot, and not just in the metaphysical study or esoteric study and that kind of energetic healing, but also in like Western psychology. And sometimes like the ego, or like the tantrums of the ego could actually be like that inner child needing some attention and listening to. And what really resonated with what you said was around the concept of judgment. So people who are watching this show right now, wherever you are in life, whether you're whether your gifts and you're tapped into it and you're excited, you want to carry forth, or whether you're in a situation where you're feeling a little lost, or you're feeling that you don't know who you are, what you're excited about, and and there's a clenching that's going in your emotional body around moving forward. I totally agree with you, Keren-Or, that it's, to suppress those feelings is to persist the feelings. And that the first key to anything, especially in situations of feeling disempowered or lost, is self-acceptance. It's like super basic foundation, the self-acceptance of where you are in the moment and what's coming up for you to be honored. And you find that once you embrace and nurture and love those fears, then you can actually dig in deeper and get to know who you are underneath those fears and worries. A really good example is, in my upbringing, like there was not a lot of space for me to make mistakes, right? There's not a lot of space for me to make mistakes. It would be immediate punishment, or degradation or shame. So the perfectionism that goes on with me is very like strong, that I had to work through. But it really took accepting it and knowing that, and listening to the inner child, I guess, having a tantrum around it, so that it can be healed and cleared, and you can have that conversation, a loving conversation with yourself around, what you want to move through or what's coming up for you. And so like non-judgment is really truly the first step to untapping. So once you've healed that, or you've soothed that a bit, then the mind can clear up a little, then the soul can come through. And that's just exactly what I resonated in terms of deciphering between the voices, right? Or being able to align them in a way that feels true for you.
Yes, the self-acceptance is like a really major key for a lot of like for that path, but for like living in that magic of existence, and for authenticity and creativity. Because if not, there's a fight. If you don't accept, you fight. And it's acceptance, like in Hebrew, the meaning acceptance is Kabbalah. And Kabbalah is also the word of the mysticism in the Judaism. So that's like a major key, acceptance. And sometimes people say, okay, then I work on myself, I accept myself, but I don't accept my society, my government. Like there's always some kind of fight. And part of the work that I like I like to work with magic. If you understand like magic, you understand that it's actually really understanding how energy works, and how universal laws, and how to work through universal laws, and how like the the force of nature, how you can work with them and call them. So magic is the word when you don't really understand how to get that. But anyway, it's still a beautiful word. And like and the main difference between like high magic, where is like that white magic that creates for the highest good, and magic that is not for your highest good, is exactly that, what you are for or what you are against. And you can be really like, sometimes we are against things that like, we're against people killing forests, we are against drunk drivers, we like, we go into like activists, we're against, it's still this, we giving power to that thing we are against. That is really important key, like transformation place for a person to understand that when they shift that against to for, I'm for preserving forests, I'm for like respecting between like human beings, I'm for, when you put, I'm for myself, I'm for my growth, I'm for my finding my purpose, and like, when that shift is a major one. And I feel that for a lot of people in the spiritual realm that working already on their self, sometimes that's that thing, this is like right now like a major thing for many people, just to shift from that. I mean, you still can be an activist, but that this activist put the energy, give the energy of to the thing that really matter to you. What matter to you becomes matter. This is something that this is like for my teacher Star Fuentes. She's really amazing. She has like great quotes, and it's like, what matter for you become what matter. So that's like where we put our focus, where we put our attention. And many people that I know, they're really powerful people. And what does it mean? That where they put their energy, it manifests, and sometimes manifests really shitty stuff, because you don't know to put your attention on exactly what's that positive manifestation you want in your life. So yeah, this is like where I found my path interesting, that I can help people in different ways, if it's through healing work or healing techniques, or through light language, understanding how sacred geometry and color, how they're like the basic structure of light, and how you get to read the matrix light codes, and then you can make changes there. And you know, whatever we resonate to the universe, this is life experience that come to us. So yeah, if the from the people who listen, someone wants to get something major, this is like, I feel like today is a big thing for people, you know, shifting against 2-4 in all ways, and like acceptance is the base of it. And I know like judgment is really hard, not to judge ourselves, others, the world around us, and but is really good goal, because we don't really know what's the big plan. You know, it's too big for one person mind to understand. So collectively, people start tapping into something new, and they're talking about evolution, they're talking about like the Aquarius, the future, and and um, and when we go into judgment, we're going into like the downhill. Is not so simple, I know, and it's still like a great goal to work on.
Yeah, energetics is such a huge part of at least being able to clear the confusion or dissonance or the heavy energy, because you know, just shifting the language can shift the energy, right? So instead of focusing on what you don't want, well, I don't want this, I don't want this, I don't like this, I don't like this, focus on what you want to create instead, within you, within your life, and in the world, right? So it doesn't mean that you're not, you know, it doesn't mean that you're not as passionate. It actually means that you're welcoming creation as opposed to destruction. You know, and so it's a concept of transmutation. It's a process of transmutation, transmuting these heavier energies around your feelings about something, your judgments about something, and transmuting it into something that's about expansion, about creation, manifesting a new world, a new life for yourself. So just shifting of focusing on the possibilities, focusing on the energy of joy, will bear fruit to the things that bring you joy, or the things that make you excited, so that you can then follow the science around it. And I'm really curious to know even more about, you know, your concept of light language. There are so many ways that people, you know, convey light language. Some people do it through words, some people do it through sounds, and I think particularly for you, use it through geometries and energies. Can you speak more about this modality and how you use it and how you tap into it, and how someone like me, who uses more through sounds and vocalization, like how I can tap into something like that as well?
So, okay, the light language work that I'm working with is the Mayan wisdom of sacred geometry and color, which are the alphabet of light. So for you as a musician, I can like the parallel to it is really like notes to music. So if you understand the notes, you imagine what it does to a musician, right? Like you can you can create a symphony if you know to read and write music.
Mm-hmm.
You can be a really talented musician, but if you don't know to read and write music, there's still some limitations. So for light workers, like to understanding light language can be very essential for their work, and that's why I encourage a lot of light workers to get this tool. It's not a healing tool, it's not a technique, is actually a knowledge of how the universe communicates, how consciousness communicate, how we actually communicate with the universe. So our energy fields has like a lot of codes, light codes. All of them are combination of sacred geometry and color. if you look basic energy structure of every crystal, of the atom, everything, you will see shape and color. Now like micro, macro, you can imagine the whole universe has that. If you know to read and write these codes, you can also change them, because these codes are responsible to what happens to us in our life. They're responsible to how we feel, and they're responsible how we make decisions, because this is like how our patterns are written, our genetic patterns, our karmic patterns, our environmental, like everything. And everything is written like in matrix of light. When you understand that, you can rewrite the codes. So if you have like a life experience you have to go through, because that's your life lesson or karma, is not going to erase it, but it will bring like a quick healing, purification, or lessons, so you can get through and get to a different goal, like, you know, like healthy relationships with people. And so you can write with light language anything that you can imagine. You can write light language grids. We call it grids when it's a structure of sacred geometry and color. And it's like kind of mathematic. We work with 7 for the 7 shaped chakras, with 7 by 7, 49 to manifest something on this timeline. You work with 12 by 12, the 144 grids, to manifest things on the soul level. And you can work for yourself and the environment and like the society. So it's a big service. And you write in the codes. Anything that you can think of. Okay, so if whatever is your priorities, I've been like many people ask me things, grids, light language grids for relationships, for spiritual growth, connecting to life purpose, emotional maturity, cash. A lot of people ask for cash, and I don't have problem with cash. I don't have problem with like it's only energy. I don't have problem people wanting to have cash, because it helps them go better on their path and accomplish their goals. And what I do to balance, I always do something for service, like light language grids for the community. And you see things shifting, like something by the date. You have a way to write it, and things like really happening like really quickly. So it's very different than light language that coming through the voice that many people like channeling, where it can channeling from like energetic, from the light, from angels, from different guides, and it comes through different like sounds or words, and it comes to give messages, sometimes only for the frequency. So like sound and shape and color, they come from the same dimension, although they are different. Sound has a little like higher frequency, but even that's, if you think about light language of sound, if you can look at it, break it to completely vision, you will see sacred geometry in color, or you see geometry in color. And so, because, you know, energy, this is, if you talk about energy, the basic structure of energy is that. So the teachings from the Mayans arrived to us through the Curanderos of Mexico. And this tribe is like Curanderos, healers tribe, and they work for healing, and they brought these teachings from one generation to another since the Mayan. Who brought it to the Mayans, we're not sure. And I already saw like people are channeling things that is galactic information. So it's really interesting work, and it moves a lot. It gives people the way to manifest their life, because many people know that they create in their life, but they say, but my life doesn't look so good. I mean, I don't want that life. If I'm creating it, how can I create it differently? And they give them tools to actually choose. All right, you want to work on your communication, let's do that. And like you have the tools to work on your communication. You start talking differently, reach to different people, You want to have a new job that is more independent, connecting to your own power and to authenticity. You can write a light grid for that. The light grid will attract, because it's in your auric field, you resonate a new message to the universe, and then you attract new life experiences, maybe new job offers, or co-creating with new friends. We don't know how the universe brings things. We don't want to control everything. It's like a co-creation, the universe, or you can call it whatever, forces, and you like creating whatever you need to create.
Is it like paintings? Is it like, is it something you write out? Is it intuitive? Like, how does it look like? Or is it something I envision? I envision this geometry and light to bring a certain, to manifest a certain outcome.
When you master light language, you can just project, emanate a light grid to yourself or to people. And before that, you learn how to write. So you write there's the platonic solids like dodecahedron, octahedron, there's the cube, the sphere, the pyramid. You learn which one, what's the essence of them, what the colors, essences, like color therapy, the combination of them, and how to create a whole grid like 7 by 7. And then you write it. You actually write it down. There's already like softwares that you can also do it on the computer if it's hard for you to draw. And but when you draw, it's emanating to the auric field of the person. And this is how it works. And then you emanate. You can emanate. You don't need to visualize. It's really fast. It's higher than the speed of light. It's really happening quicker. And it's beyond space and time. If you go with the Mayan teachings, there's also dimensions that you can work on your past, you can work on your future. It's pretty fascinating, all these multi-dimensional ways. It is exciting for me. I love that, and whoever listen to when I talk about it and feel that curiosity and they can contact me and see when I'm teaching. Many times I'm teaching online, and there's other teachers that teach light language or any other techniques, dimensions from the curanderos of Mexico. The thing is, if it resonates for you, there's a calling. Maybe your soul is telling you, ring, ring, look, there's something that can really help you in your evolution or in your work as for service, for service for the community. And if it's not, that's it's not. There's a lot. Basically, how you know what is yours? I mean, there's so many, like you mentioned before, there's so many things out there now. There's so many classes, there's so many teachings, there's so many, that's why, coming back and listen to yourself and start, that consciousness about, who you really are and give you, more connection, more ground, And when I say connection, I mean connection to source and connection to the earth. So when you get these two, it's easier to be there in the center of the storm. And then in the storm, you're choosing what you need, what is good for you, because things happen fast and faster and faster and faster. If you have noticed,
yes,
right?
Absolutely, it's only going to get faster.
Yeah, we got to be more centered, because if not, we get ourselves in the spin of all the circumstances.
Grounding and staying heart-centered. When I was listening to multiple channels, but that's been the message, is staying grounded and staying heart-centered as a way to move gracefully through the ascension process. And there was one thing I wanted to say when you were talking about tools that are resonant with you, and it just left me. I'm trying to catch it. It was, oh God, where did it go? Well, it was something. it was something around. Oh, okay, I remember now. Yeah. So There is what you were. Here's the thing, like that I really enjoy about talking to just a myriad of people. I talk to people who are who are into mysticism, or spiritual and energetic healing. I talk to people who are in, more, Western science based or work on, psychology. And some people are in hypnosis. Some people are in just pure art, and some people are in, completely secular, like in the Western world. But like, one thing that I really love is the integration of the multidimensional self and waking up to one's divinity. So everybody, everybody's so worthy, and everybody has this inner magic that's so unique to who they are. Their unique vibration to themselves, and there's so much to uncover and untap. So many textures and colors to themselves that they're able to can really celebrate. And it's such a missed opportunity to not feel that excitement of being, the excitement of existing in your unique vibrational state. Me as you as Keren-Or Atari, and me as Lotus Sky, or me, everybody's individual just reinvention and rediscovery of who they are. And there are so many tools to be able to access this, and the journey does not have to be frightening. Well, not frightening. I mean, sometimes it could be scary, but the journey doesn't have to be filled with worry, right? And the journey can be exciting. It could be we could have a spirit of inquiry, or spirit of curiosity around the emotions and feelings that are going on, so that you could really find and access the inner light, the inner voice, and the inner truth. And irregardless of whatever circumstances, everybody who are doing great things today, including you, including all the other speakers in this series, is that they all have their own story, their own hero's journey, I guess you can say, this own journey of using oh my God, I think I just saw the hawk just fly through my window. Using this journey of, straight up just flew, using this huge wings, using this journey of, of difficult things that have happened to you, or things that have caused trauma, and transmuting those into points of growth, and how exciting it is to be able to see what you're going to create out of, from those points. And the last one is that there's a thing around not knowing, right? Because because there are multiple potentials in our futures, right? And our individual choices kind of lead us to different paths, right? Depending on what reality you want to shift to. And the thing that I get the most from many people that I work with is around, wanting to know what's on the other side, right? Not wanting to fail. Like, I want you to know, if I'm going to pursue this, that it's what, it's going to come out okay, or, or something like that. Like, what do you have to say around people who need to know, who must know, what is the outcome of doing something, or, like the need to know what comes next?
Yeah, well, I would say that the need to know really comes from the mind, and like the unknown have so much more than the mind can grasp, and I think it's like too boring to see the future.
Yes.
So you can say like to people, all right, I have it written, this is your future, and do you really want to see that? I think nobody really will see that, because then you're losing that spark of curiosity, of waking up in the morning and not sure where to go, and knowing that you have the decision in every moment. And you know what, even if your future is written, you still can make changes, because it's up to you. You have free will. And I know not everyone are doing art, not everyone have that excitement, and what I would say to them, that the people who don't have that dedication and consistency to your growth, that's really what matters. Just go on, just continue, you know, just continue like wanting to get there, like, or you're gonna get where? You're not gonna get anywhere actually at the end, right? I mean, you will find more deeper sense inside yourself of your life. At the end, there's something about service, you know. I feel like the path, one of the goal is after you find yourself and after you grow, and I see it around, that the power to share yourself, and that's why like technology is really amazing today. Many people like using Facebook, Instagram, whatever it is, to start like talking, to start sharing themselves. And even if they're shy, like something is possible, like through words. You don't have to show their pictures. There's something there about like your unique gift got to be out there. Why? This is what you are here for, you know. And if you don't get it, like, you know, you keep searching, and at the end you say like, you know, I'll just have to share my gifts, whatever it is, you know, if it's art, if it's your words, communication, your music, your uh, business connections with people, like, you know, it can be anything. It doesn't come to my mind like there's, because this virus of things. But the thing is like, you know, just to get consistent in your path. And I found one thing that really is very helpful, and it's called meditation. And like, because I talked about like being center and how you get there, how you get to your center, and I found that meditation is one tool that really helps. Like, meditation doesn't have to have a goal. It's just like sitting for a few minutes every day and just saying like, okay, I want to connect with my intimate place, just to be with myself, because many people don't have time to be with themselves. They always like think about other people, about the family, about their jobs, about what they need to do, what future, and they forget really here and now, until the body is screaming, is like, ouch, it's painful or whatever, and then it's like, okay, I have to take care of the present. And like, and meditation is, there's so many ways to meditate, okay? So I'm not going to talk about it now, but like each person can find their ways. It's just like to have a few minutes for yourself every day, you know, to looking inside and like in silence, and just like, you know, close your eyes and really concentrate of like what you really feel. What do you really think? The same thoughts? I mean, normally it's the same thoughts. You know, we should not be so excited about thoughts. They're just coming and going. And if we don't give them like so much energy, they will not be so powerful. Because thoughts are thoughts. We always have thoughts. In the end, we can also decide what we think. Let's think positive thoughts, because that can help the world, you know. So I know like service and helping the world and all this evolution sounds like bullshit talk to someone that like so happy in their own stuff, you know. Like they have to to have a resolution to their own shit first, because like the world around it's already too overwhelming, because like, they're not happy and they're not satisfied. If you're not satisfied, something is out of tune. Something is out of alignment. Like connection to source is the first thing, and then and it's not a religious thing. It's really something about like you in the intimate space of yourself, and getting that silence place between the thoughts, you know. And like, and if you never got it before, just sit and listen. I mean, you have a lot of children around, you have many projects, just like 5 minutes, instead of taking your cell phone to the bathroom, you know, just sit there with yourself. And people like, today with so much technology, we even like we're afraid to be with ourselves. We are afraid to have that intimate space of discovery. And then we find that we need to be so courageous to go to the unknown. We want to guarantee everything, and like, courage is a big thing. Courage, uh, we can get courage. We can ask for courage to come to be by our side, and like, you know, um, every person believe in something. Like, ask whatever force that you believe in. If it's the force of nature, or the force of angels, or spirit guides, or your lineage, ancestors, whatever it is, like, and ask these forces to be by your side, and help you with courage to jump to something that you don't know. Because if you want guarantee, you're actually making everything like very small. Because like, yeah, it just doesn't work like that. I mean, my biggest decisions, like I live in today in Brazil, and that decision came from a dream I had. One before I came to Brazil, I came for only like one festival here, and just like a few days before, I had a dream that says, "You go and live in Brazil." And I was like, "What? I already have a ticket to round one. Like I have like a round trip ticket back to Israel." And what do you mean? What's that dream? And I have this thing of like doubting, like these insights, and doubt, I think, is not a bad thing, because sometimes the mind is talking. So you have to like see when is the mind, and when is really the voice of your soul, your intuition, that's coming and guiding you. And like for me, from my personal experience, sometimes when the truth is really talking, when my soul is talking, I just know that. I just know it's like, I just know to follow. I don't know why, but I follow it. And yeah. And today I'm in Brazil, and I know that was part of my destiny, and it came in a dream. So it can come in many different ways. It's just the fact to like sometimes listen to our thoughts. Our thoughts, like sometimes, like our intuition, our soul, our spirit guides, whatever you want to call it, are talking to us in lower voice, and they talking, and then we have our thoughts. So we have too many things up here.
Yeah.
but inside of that, there's also that voice, that guidance. So we need to sit in like, have some space to really listen to, like, and then to start say, okay, these thoughts, I know them already. They keep repeating the same thing. It's like, okay, I thoughts are something that keep repeating the same thing.
It's
think about the past, think about that, the mother, think about whatever. And then like intuition is something like, it's lower, it's quicker, and it's something new.
it cuts through it, and it resonates, it's a different thing. And one of the things that really made me think about what you said was that we're like, we're not alone, right? I mean, and like we're, there's so many helpers around, and that, there are guides, there's our higher self, there's our inner voice, there is, the plants, there's science around. Like earlier, there was literally a big bird that flew right across from me, and I want to say it was an eagle, but I don't think there are eagles in the desert. I'm not sure. Definitely hawks. But yeah, it's just, to, to listen and to pay attention is to tune in. And I say this from my own experience. I grew up feeling like I had to do things on my own all the time. I was pretty much like, had to take care of myself growing up, and, when I came out to my family, I got estranged from them. I had to do it by myself. There's always this concept that I had to heal with myself around, I have to do it by myself. And forgetting to seek help, right? Forgetting to, or not feeling like you can, or feeling like if you do, then it's a sign of weakness. So there's so many programs that can be reprogrammed to one that where you feel supported, in a deep, deep way, supported by the universe, where you feel safe in a deep, deep way, safe, supported, and connected, so that you can really tap into that. And when you get those, foundations and your connection to source. And I mean, for me, like when I meditate, I really like to always I agree with you. My connection to source is always there. It's just an open funnel. But like for me, it's like my root chakra. It's this feeling of safety, right? That I will always be supported, and the universe conspires to support me, you know. And so, and whatever I choose, and sometimes, you know, it could be I could accidentally choose a negative experience, you know, or a difficult experience, and the universe will support that because of, you know, what matters to me becomes matter, right? So being able to shift into using affirmations or whatever tools to know that you're supported, that you're not alone, that you have guides, that there are tools around, and there's so much love around, and almost you know, instead of letting the external world affect you, you know, and letting you define what your reality is, allowing your intent to be imprinted into the world, your positive intent to be imprinted into the world. So in places of, you know, especially when I think of how we work in like ceremonial ritual or anything like that, you know, exuding, you know, the love that you have into in your surroundings, in your auric space, in the room, can really shift the space, and being able to catch yourself when you're in that rut, accepting yourself, accepting the state, having that compassion, and then having the courage to shift, you know, just a little bit, you know, and then see what comes out of that, and allowing yourself to receive the guidance from other people is from other realms, you know, from yourself, from your guides, angels, and all that, will help you feel, you know, will help, at least for me, has helped me feel, you know, supported, guided, and can trust. And so, you know, and I share this to all the watchers, you know, listeners out there, that if those are the energies that are coming up for you, then, you know, there are many tools that can be accessed in order to decipher between the circular thoughts and, you know, the truth of, you know, that intuitive voice that you know can really cut through to the truth. Yeah.
Thank you for sharing. Yeah, it's really amazing because in the end, like when you talk to people, you realize that we all on the same boat. We all like maybe have a little like different life experiences and we look different, but at the end it's very similar process, you know?
Similar process. That's a really great like concept to bring up, because you know, we have different cultures, different you know, values or whatever, you know, we have just different upbringings, and so different life experiences. But then the process of healing, and the process of discovering one's inner magic and living authentically, you know, there's so many parallels to that. And so we're, you know, and so we're all connected in that way, and never alone in our process, because likelihood is other people are moving through that process as well. Yeah. So Keren,
sharing is really important. Like, I just want to encourage the people who feel like that like if they feel alone, like sharing sometimes it's so important. Just talk about it to someone, because you will find that like that other people have similar experiences, and it gives strength, because you understand you're not alone. I mean, people have thinking similar, you know, the patterns are similar, fears are similar. That's why when you read books, it's good for many people, inspiration books, because, you know, we are, at the end, like we are very different, but we're all humans with different spirits. Not, I mean, I know people who are not so human, so have human figure. They still have human experience.
Yes. So Keren-Or, we are reaching the end of our interview, and wow, we just unpacked so much around tapping into our inner magic, the magic of you, and, you know, the arts of living an authentic, powerful, and purpose-driven life. We talked about, you know, accessing the multidimensional self, the use of light language in order to manifest and create what we want in our lives, the concept of healing, so much around inner voice and and all these techniques and tools to be able to tap into that, and also around you know, the how to help with people needing to control what comes next, you know, so that this excitement in allowing things to unfold as opposed to everything always being so predictable, which would make life so boring. And thank you so much for sharing your wisdom and your life story, which sounds so incredible. Just your story of what you went through, you know, from moving out of Israel to, like, you know, finding your love and passion for art, and how you use that as a tool, and moving and your spiritual awakening, and how you use your learnings to be of service. We're always continuing to learn and grow. I've certainly learned so much from you, and thank you so much for being here. Is there anything else, if there's anything else you want to share around, you know, helping people access their inner magic? Any last words?
Just know that transformation is sometimes around the corner. We think sometimes we have a big journey, and one little step can be like huge, a quantum leap. So yeah, just when you want, everything is possible. Yeah. Thank you so much for inviting me for your series, and then, like, I'm really happy to know you, to talk with you, to be part of something that's gonna ripple and create, like, gives more inspiration for people. And I wish a beautiful new year for you and for everyone who's listening. And yeah. That's it for now.
Thank you for sharing your energy, and thank you to the listeners for witnessing this conversation. Hopefully it was resonant with you, and we'd love to hear more about your experience with this chat. So feel free to share, and with Keren, we'll have, if you want to learn more about Keren, you'll see her biography in the bottom, as well as her free gift for everyone. And yeah, and with that, see you in the next episode of The Magic of You. I'm Lotus Sky. This is Keren-Or Atari, and we will see you later.